Instant speed, end of your turn. I'll discard my hand.
Is one with nothing an instant or sorcery?
It's sorcery.
Ah, that card is so awful. There's an instant.
There was a question brought up by, I think by Alex, who's the one who proposed it to me at the GP. If you're playing Life Sea, and your opponent goes, turn 1, Underground Sea, 1 with nothing, do you force it?
It's a good question.
That's a really good
They're doing some shady shit with that. You know it. There's no way that
you're sure they have a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're just playing turn 1 concede.
Or
That's
Dredge.
the strongest deck.
I mean, hey.
Dredge doesn't.
No, it doesn't play it, but it could play it.
It wouldn't be good.
It would not be good.
But it'll
be 2 or 3 and you don't want to even have it.
Yeah, and you can definitely win games with Dredge where you cast 1 with nothing on turn 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That makes it good, right?
I mean, that's one definition of good.
I mean, waiting on Cade.
We're gonna fire in about 3 minutes. I didn't launch the stream until I was confident we were going to launch the event. And my countdown's not to 0 yet. But now seems good. All those pairs right now. So we've got 6 players.
Can you hear me? Or is the mic muted? I forget. Great. Also, let me know when you know what decks they're playing. Let's hope it's not Grixis Death Shadow, because I hate talking about that deck. It's Grixis Death Shadow, isn't it? Huh. Okay. Sure. This should be neat. Mono red versus mono... Okay, sure. Yeah. What the hell is mono white? This is modern, right? Yeah, sure. Let's go. Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Paradise Games' Modern Thursday Night Tournament. My name is Adam. I will be your sole caster for tonight. And here we go into round one. On our left, we've got Richie on mono white, and on our left we have Richie on mono white, and on our right we have Jesse on mono red. Now, I'm not sure exactly what mono white means in modern. It could be we could be seeing some kind of devotion thing with like Heliod. We could be seeing, Knight aggro, something like that. We could be seeing a control deck with ghostly prisons, that kind of thing. We'll see as soon as I get to see Richie's hand. On the right, okay, let's see. Looks like mono white prison deck. Excellent. So, okay, yeah. So like Eldrazi taxes, something adjacent to that. Either way, we're going to be seeing some Thalias, some Lenient Arbiters, probably a Ghost Quarter. Basically, just Richie's going to be doing what he can to make Jesse unable to play Magic cards. On our right, Jesse is on mono red. I'm going to assume that's either Burn or Goblins. By the numbers, by the percentages, I'm going to say Burn, but usually Burn plays either white nowadays for Boros Charm and Lightning Helix, or it plays green for like Tarka's Command, something like that. Could just be that Jesse's just playing a pile of burn spells and that's good enough. Either way, they're presenting their decks, and I'm excited to see this game. And we have a keep. Excellent. All right, so Jesse's down to 6. Richie kept to 7. And here we go. Richie's on the play. Okay. So Plains for Richie. Seems about right out of the mono white deck. Mountain for Jesse. Out of the mono red deck. Seems right. And Goblin Guide. Yep, pretty good start to a mono red burn adjacent strategy. 2 damage to Richie's head, and he goes to 18, revealing a Blade Splicer. That Blade Splicer, being a 1/1 that makes a 3/3, is going to be huge for blocking. I don't know. I mean, unless the Golem gets bolted or something, I doubt that Richie's going to be able to profitably swing through a 3/1 first strike. So that'll be interesting to see. Similarly, a 2/1 first strike is also a very good Magic card to see when trying to face down a bunch of X2s and X1s that are swinging for as much damage as they can. For 2 mana, we've got a Legion Loyalist and another Legion Loyalist. Alright, so this guy right here, as Richie reads it, is a 1/1 Goblin with haste. It says whenever it attacks, if 2 other creatures are attacking, creatures you control can't be blocked by tokens, gain first strike, and gain trample. So the main thing I think that we're going to see here, yeah, so we have the swaying the battalion trigger and the reveal from Richie, seeing Restoration Angel. The big thing that Legion Loyalist here is giving is first strike. That's going to make all of Jesse's creatures actually trade with this Thalia instead of just getting stonewalled by it forever. So that's actually very, very relevant. I'm expecting Richie's just going to block the Guide, probably, or one of the Legion Loyalists. Because Richie's got bigger creatures. I don't think he needs to hold on to this Thalia. It'll end up just blocking something anyway. Alright, we have a trade here, as Richie takes another 2 damage, down to 16. And it goes back his way. In a sec. Alright. Card drawn for turn was that a Field of Ruin? I think that's a Field of Ruin. Maybe? Yes, Field of Ruin. Alright. And 3 mana makes a Blade Splicer. So yeah, as I was saying before, this 3/3 first strike is going to be able to block basically anything Jesse sends at it. Interestingly enough, if Jesse has a 3-power attacker and it swings, then with those Legion Loyalists, it'll be able to... Oh, right, never mind, what am I saying? Legion Loyalist makes it so your creatures can't be blocked by creature tokens. The Golem can't block anything anyway. Yeah, this Legion Loyalist is huge. Well, it would be huge if he had another attacker, at least. So, yeah, Legion Loyalist needs to be, you need to be attacking with 3 total creatures in order for it to get its effects, right? So, alright, here is a 3rd creature, Goblin Bushwhacker. Okay, so this deck is sweet. Jesse's deck, Goblin Bushwhacker is a 1/1 for red that says kicker red. It comes into play. If it was kicked, creature you control get +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. A lot of the time you'll see this card, you'll go Goblin, 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 Bushwhacker kicked, they all get huge, they all get haste, swing to kill. And it's doing a pretty good job here of that, giving his whole team +1/+0. And the creature tokens clause on that is good. And the first strike clause are both relevant, yeah. So Richie's board, one of his creatures can't block, and the other one's just going to die to first strike damage. This is going a lot better than I initially expected it to go for Jesse. Yeah, so this creature token cannot block, I believe. Unless I'm just totally wrong here. Right? Okay. Well, the players... Yeah. Did I misread Legion Loyalist? Okay. No blocks were declared, but the Legion Loyalist died to combat damage? I don't know. We'll be figuring out exactly what happened there. I might just be misreading Legion Loyalist or something, but I'm pretty sure it says creature tokens can't block this turn. Yeah, okay, so we're going to rewind it a little bit. There's basically nothing Richie can block with unless he wants to just sack off his Blade Splicer for 2 damage, which is not great here because those Legion Loyalists are always going to be stonewall, making his Golem unable to actually do anything. So, it's, I don't know. Either way, we're back to Richie's turn. He's taking a bunch of damage. He's down to 10, and he'll be deciding what to do momentarily. If he has a land, he does have a Ghost Quarter in hand. Alright, so there was a Restoration Angel that Richie drew. If he goes land, and then on Jesse's combat step, flash in a Restoration Angel, blink my block with Blade Splicer, and see, what's a good way to do that? I guess flash in Resto, blink the Blade Splicer, make another Golem, and then block just with the Restoration Angel on one of the Legion Loyalists. That would be fine. Unfortunately, he can't block with Blade Splicer, blink it, and then also block with the Resto. So either way, Foundry Street Denizen comes into play for Jesse. It's a 1/1 for red that says whenever another red creature comes into play under your control, it gets 1 bigger. Yeah, there we go. So that works out pretty well with Jesse's plan of creature, 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 goblin, 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 give them all haste, swing. But unfortunately, Foundry Street Denizen is generally designed to come into play first. Alright, so Richie's going to be doing the Restoration Angel thing I was talking about before, where it blinks the Blade Splicer, making another token. Good synergy there. And now Richie has a 3/4 blocker. Let's see what he's going to block with. Or what he is going to block with it. Alright. We're going to be trading a... Ooh, this is really good. Yeah. So, Jesse's Goblin also does not die there, theoretically. He did it after damage was dealt. Okay. So there is a window there where Jesse deals first strike damage and then bolts it for 3 damage, which kills the Restoration Angel and leaves his Legion Loyalist alive. It looks like he didn't decide to do that, which is a little unfortunate for him. But either way, I don't think that one Legion Loyalist is going to be the deciding factor in this game because Jesse's either going to need a ton of creatures or his remaining Legion Loyalist will be the difference. So, yeah, for the most part, that other Legion Loyalist is just a 1/1 creature. Alright, so Richie is going to swing out here, and it looks like... So what does he have in hand? He has a Path and a Blade Splicer and a Leonin Arbiter. Okay, so there's some really cool things you can do with Leonin Arbiter in this deck, where I see Ghost Quarter in play right there. Ghost Quarter says tap, sack, destroy a land, and its controller gets to search their library for a basic land put into play, untapped. Now, if that player cannot pay 2 mana to the Leonin Arbiter's tax, they won't be able to search their library at all. Because Leonin Arbiter says players can't search their libraries, and any player can pay 2 mana to make that not happen. Now, the beauty of that is you get to just play Strip Mine in Modern, and Path to Exile also does a similar thing. It exile a creature, and then if they can't pay the tax, so yeah, we're gonna be seeing all of that this turn. This Ghost Quarter will be making Jesse get rid of a mountain. Then I believe he will also be playing Path to Exile. He will not. Okay. Let's see. So if Jesse, yeah, we'll see how Jesse goes here. I believe it would have been better for Richie to just path the Legion Loyalist right then and there. But because Jesse could just play a mountain and then have the 2 mana for the Leonin Arbiter if Richie does go for the path. And one of the really important things about this Death and Taxes deck in Modern is that it is very good at constricting its opponent's mana. But if they get 4, 5, 6 lands, that game plan just kind of goes out the window. Richie needs to be able to have that. I mean, it's a deck built around Leonin Arbiter. If Leonin Arbiter isn't doing anything relevant, then it's just a 2/2 for 2. Either way, Jesse did not play a second land, which means this gets good. He will be pathing. It looks like the Founder Seat Denizen. Okay, so Richie isn't worried too much about the Legion Loyalist trigger, which is fair, entirely fair. Now that I think about it, it looks like he has enough creatures now to actually block the Legion Loyalist without needing his goblins, and Richie's going to be able to actually swing here. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, meaning Jesse's going to need to block or use a lightning bolt, something along those lines. So let's see, Jesse really doesn't have that many good blocks here. He could block with a Bushwhacker on, let's say, a 3/3, take 6 down to 3, then untap and play, I don't know, some number of lands. I don't think that's even going to happen, though, because Richie is probably going to activate this Field of Ruin, making Jesse's last land go away. And it looks like Jesse's remaining cards in hand all cost more than 1 mana. Alright, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. Yeah, so this looks like another. Okay, so Richie's going to opt for another Blade Splicer instead of taking out Jesse's last mana, which is entirely fair because there is no way that Jesse, with one single mountain, yeah, let's say he draws a second mountain, there's no way he bursts Richie down from 8 through a board. I don't think it's literally possible in Modern. Yeah, so we have a Mog Fanatic, was that? Yeah, Mog Fanatic that sacrifices itself to deal 1 damage to target creature or player, which is not going to be enough here. Yeah. Alright, so Jesse and Richie are going to scoop it up, and we're going to go to sideboarding for going into game 2. Let's see, Richie's deck has a sideboard consisting of Dawn to Dusk, 2 of them, 2 Sun Lances, 2 Burnt and Forge Tenders, those are coming in, 3 Stony Silence, 4 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Graft Digger's Cage, and 1 Mirren Crusader. Let's see, so Dusk to Dawn, if I remember correctly, destroys all creatures with CMC or power 3 or greater, one of those. It destroys big creatures and then brings back a bunch of your small creatures. I don't think he'll be wanting it here because Jesse's not going to have any actual things to destroy. And if a bunch of creatures on Richie's side have died, he's probably already lost the board state, and they come back to hand anyway. Either way, pretty sure it's in the sideboard against control matchups. Either way, we have 2 Sun Lances, 2 Burnt and Forge Tenders. Both of those cards I think might come in. Sun Lance just to have some amount of interaction because, you know, hitting a Legion Loyalist might be huge. Although, for what it's worth, it looks like Richie's deck can get constrained on white mana pretty well. Just like the Legacy version of Death and Taxes can sometimes just draw hands that have, I don't know, a Wasteland, a Port, and a bunch of white cards. Richie is in a similar boat where he can draw 2 Ghost Quarters, 1 Field of Ruin, and a bunch of white cards and just be unable to play them. Either way, on Jesse's side, we have 2 Roasts. I would imagine those are coming in. 1, maybe, I don't know. 1 Goblin Pile Driver, probably not. 2 Fork Bolt. Let's see, Fork Bolt is very interesting. Fork Bolt actually deals with Thalia pretty well. It deals with the 1/1 Blade Splicer pretty well. It does kill the Leonin Arbiter, which is relevant, which is very, very relevant. It kills Flicker Wisp. Yeah, so I think there are enough targets in Richie's deck The Forkbolt is going to want to come in. Either way, 3 Smash Smithereens, which are good against... Those Smash Smithereens are good against the, what's them called? Golem tokens left behind by the Blade Splicer, as well as hitting Aether Vial. Now, I don't think Jesse saw the Aether Vial, but if you know the deck, I'm pretty sure most of the Death and Taxes decks in Modern play it. Let's see, his next card is Reality Hemorrhage, 2 Reality Hemorrhage, yeah. 1 in a red, devoid, deal 2 damage to target creature or player. It kills Burnt and Forge Tender, it kills Core Firewalker. Right, Richie did play an Aether Vial in the last turn of that game, so yeah, he does know, Jesse does know Richie has it. Either way, so that colorless, 2-mana bolt is, God, it's a 2-mana shock, isn't it? It's a bit undercurved for Modern. Either way, 1 in a red, 2 damage is going to have a lot of targets in Richie's deck, and it's going to be able to get around any of the pro-red threats because it's a void, which is very interesting. The other 5 cards in sideboard are 3 Tormod's Crypts and 2 Dragon's Claws, both of which aren't coming in. Either way, we're going back into game 2. It looks like both of our players are keeping, maybe. Yes, they're both keeping their hands. Richie is thinking about it. Let's see, we have... Okay, Richie's hand is Flicker Wisp, Restoration Angel, Path to Exile, and 4 lands. I think that's good enough. I would imagine... I mean, Richie needs early interaction. He does have a path, and he'll have a 3-drop. He could just be dead by then. So I guess we'll see soon enough whether or not he is. Turn 1 for Jesse sees Legion Loyalist, which will swing for 1 damage, and yeah, that's a 1/1 for 1 with haste. Good on it. Good old Raging Goblin. We should have Raging Goblin in Modern more. That card's great. Either way, just a Plains for Richie. He has a path in hand. I don't know if he'll use it here, but looks like Jesse's just gonna swing for 1 again, and Richie's gonna take the 1 after Jesse plays a Mog Fanatic. Let's see, back to Jesse. Or back to Richie, sorry. Our second land will be probably another Plains. Yeah, there's another Plains. I actually really like those Plains. I'm a big fan of any of the Portal, Onslaught, anywhere between those two, old border basic lands. And it looks like Richie's got a full set of a single type. It looks pretty nice. Jesse's going to play a Goblin Chieftain. So that's a 2/2 Goblin for 3 that says haste, and all your goblins have +1/+1, and haste. So this will get Path to Exiled. Yes, it will. Okay. That's the Goblin Lord you got to care about. The other one, Goblin King, that's in Modern. Instead of giving haste to all the things, it gives Mountain Walk, which is just worse. Goblin Chieftain is the premier Goblin Lord nowadays. So taking another 2 down to puts Richie at 16, as it will go back to him. Let's see. Draw for turn. We'll probably see Richie playing a Flicker Wisp this turn, just blinking one of his lands and having that be good enough, because that Flicker Wisp needs to start blocking. If you block and kill the Legion Loyalist, is that good enough? Let's see. The Goblin Fanatic would be able to kill the Flicker Wisp, unfortunately. So yeah, here's a Tectonic Edge for Richie. Yeah, and looks like he's just gonna pass it back. He values the what's it called a little bit too much, the Flicker Wisp. So interestingly enough for Jesse, he's gonna see a bunch of new toys coming out for him in Dominaria. We have Goblin Warchief, which we can pull up here. Yeah, 2/2 goblins cost 1 less to cast and have haste. I'm not sure that Jesse's deck is going to want this exact one, because look, every single creature that Jesse has costs red, 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 and that 1 less cost won't affect any of these creatures. So I think we might see some different Goblins builds, which is really cool because I really like seeing different Goblins builds in Modern and Legacy. And the other one we're getting is, what's it called? The 1/1 for red that you can sack any of your Goblins to add red to your mana pool. I don't know how relevant that'll be, but the card's sweet and can lead some really cool combos. That will be going to standard as well. Yeah. Both that and War Chief are going to be printed in Dominaria. Skirk Prospector, there it is. Yeah. See, I've got this sweet idea of 4 Empty the Warrens, 4 Kirk's Prospectors, and a bunch of Goblins, and Fecundity, which is an enchantment for 2 and a green that says whenever one of your creatures dies, draw a card. And your whole game plan is Goblin, 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 Storm, make a bunch of Goblins, sack them all for a bunch of mana, draw a bunch of cards, play Empty the Warrens again, and just kind of go. I don't know where it goes past that, but we might see that deck pop up in Modern, and if we do, it will be sweet. Either way. Yeah. Oh, and you can Grape Shot for the kill. There you go. Grape Shot off of a bunch of Goblins that you're sacking. It's like Goblin Storm. Let's do it. Either way, Richie here is at 7. He's been trying to find enough creatures to block with, and unfortunately, he hasn't found many. But we're on turn 4 here, which means he does have Restoration Angel in hand. That is a 3/4, which might be good enough. Let's see, what is in Jesse's hand? I can't quite make it out. Oh, that's an oh, sad days. This second Bushwhacker is going to mean each of his Goblins has 2 power, and swing with 5 of them means even if one gets blocked, Richie will still be taking 8. I guess the guide is even bigger than that. Yeah, okay, so yeah, look at that. Richie did put in Sunlands. Alright, so even if you flash in a Resto, he's dead here, right? Unless I'm missing something. Does Richie have any other instant speed interaction? I don't think so. Yeah, okay, he's gonna scoop it up. Unfortunately for Richie, he revealed that Sunlands before he scooped it up. He might have wanted to save a little bit of, that's a save that 0.001% information chance to win there. But either way, Jesse now knows that there is another Removal Spawns deck and might play accordingly. Either way, back to the sideboards here. I think that Jesse is going to have Roast in his deck. I think he's going to have Forkbolt in his deck. Still don't know about that Smasher Smithereens. I don't think I personally would play the Smasher Smithereens in Jesse's situation. Because, sure, it hits an Aether Vial. And then your 2 mana play got you 3 damage closer to winning, but didn't establish a board state. I feel like Jesse's primary game plan in this matchup, and the best way he wins the game, is by going wide, making a huge board state, making it so Richie's Golem tokens can't block, and just swing. I don't think that Smasher Smithereens is going to be good enough for that. On the other hand, I could be entirely wrong. I don't know. It could be that turns out to be perfect in the matchup, and when you draw it, it's good. But could also just be dead. And I don't think that this mono red Goblins deck can afford any dead cards ever against the deck that is designed to play a bunch of decently sized white creatures and just muck up the board. Because that's what Richie's really planning on doing here, right? He's trying to play Blade Splicer, Flickerwisp Blade Splicer, Restoration Angel, Flickerwisp Blade Splicer. Just get more and more 3/3 first strikers that Jesse will never be able to swing through, while keeping Jesse off mana. So Jesse needs to either go under that or go bigger than that. And I highly doubt that his deck full of 1/1s is going to be able to go bigger than that. So he needs to get under it, which means probably not Smasher Smithereens or Reality Hemorrhage. Either way, it looks like we're going to be coming back to Game 3 here. Jesse and Richie are presenting their decks to be cut. For those of you just joining in, this is our Thursday Night Modern here at Paradise Games in Bellingham. My name's Adam, and here we go into Game 3. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll be here longer on for the night. We've got, I believe we're doing 3 rounds tonight, which means we'll be here for a couple hours. Swing by, stop in, comment on Twitch. Brad will love that. He's the one looking at some Twitch chat stuff. And yeah, Jesse's going to be mulliganing down to 6 cards as Richie keeps his 7. Now, that might have been a Thalia in Richie's hand. it looked a little bit different. I might be wrong on that, but the top card in his hand, what is that? No, it's not a Thalia. I don't recognize that. Is it just a Thalia? Okay, yeah, it might just be a Thalia, and I might just be trying to outthink myself. But either way, Thalia's very good in this matchup. And, yeah, we'll see. We got Path to Exile, we have a Sun Lance, we have a couple planes. Yeah, this seems perfect for Richie. My God, this is just exactly what Richie needs. Early interaction, and the lands to cast it. Alright, so we've got a... Yeah, that's just a Thalia. I just can't see. I played this card in Standard, I played it in Modern, I played it in Legacy. I should know what it looks like. Either way, back to Jesse, he got a turn 2 Goblin Pile Driver. People Driver over here is a 1/2 for 2 that has Pro Blue, and whenever it attacks, it gets 2 bigger for each other attacking Goblin. Unfortunately, a 2/1 first strike means Goblin Pile Driver will never swing. This is not what Jesse needs. Man, this... Okay, so we're just going to be swinging for 2 here, which I assume means he's got a Blade Splicer. Yep, Blade Splicer it is. Yep. So as much as a 2/1 first strike was against that Pile Driver, a 3/3 first strike is equally annoying, or more, even more so, honestly. So over on Jesse's side, we're going to be seeing... Let's see, we've got a basic mountain. Unfortunately, it doesn't match the other mountains. What a shame. And Jesse will be thinking about what to do as a 3 mana. Looks like 2 of it's going to be lightning bolting the golem token. It's 2 mana because the Thalia on the other side makes spells cost 1 more. And then Bushwhacker will be played out as a 1/1 for 1. It doesn't even have haste on its own, does it? That's unfortunate. Either way, 1 damage is going to come through for this Goblin Pile Driver, and we'll pass back to Richie. The draw for turn is, I believe, a Plains, and Richie will almost definitely just be playing it. So if Richie has a Leanin' Arbiter here, he might start using his paths, and I don't think he has a Ghost Quarter. No, he has a Thraben Inspector. How's that for a good card? Thraben Inspector is a 1/2 for white that says, when it comes into play, investigate. The card's great. It gives you some amount of card advantage. It mucks up the board, like I was saying before. It is important for Richie to do. Yeah, just any little thing to muck up the board and draw more cards is exactly what Richie wants to be able to do. But it looks like he's going to be passing a turn back because I believe that's a Restoration Angel in hand. Very back card of Richie's hand, I think, is a Resto. So, yeah, that'll be blinking the Blade Splicer, making another 3/3. And we're going to see some board stall by Richie, which is, yeah, great for him, awful for Jesse. 2 mana here will make another Bushwhacker, which gives all of his guys +1/+7 haste, which means this Pile Driver will be swinging for a lot of damage. Now, one really nice interaction in Jesse's deck, he doesn't have it in play right now, but that Legion Loyalist giving Goblin Pile Driver trample and first strike is amazing. What's much better than a 7/2 attacking you is a 7/2 first strike trample, because you can't block that with like anything. Unfortunately, this Bushwhacker does not give the Pile Driver any amount of extra juice, and okay, so that's pretty good. Richie's going to be playing a Restoration Angel to blink the Blade Splicer, and with the trigger on the stack, Jesse's going to be lightning bolting it. Now, that lightning bolt will make it so that not only does Richie not get to blink anything, he won't have another 3/3, he won't have the 1/1 blocker if he wants to, and Richie's board got a lot less scary for Jesse. Either way. Going into blockers, Richie's deciding what, if anything, he wants to block with his Resto. It looks like he's going to be hitting one of the Bushwhackers. So, Bushwhacker dies. What's it called? Pile Driver is a 5/2, I believe, which means Richie will be taking 6 damage. That's 7/2. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, oh right, because the it should be a 6/2. Yeah, 6-2 because the Bushwhacker trigger makes it a little bit bigger, and the Goblin Bushwhacker is a 2/1, so it ends up being 8 damage that Richie's taking. So yeah, I personally would have blocked the Pile Driver, because if Jesse plays a Legion Loyalist and you don't have an answer for it, then that's very less than ideal. On the other hand, Richie does have both Path in hand and Sunlance in hand, and doesn't want to lose his 3-powered attacker and his 3/4 blocker. Yeah, Resto's really good in the creature matchup. Either way, with Path and Sunlance in hand, remember that Sunlance is a sorcery, so Richie's going to want to use it now if he's going to be using it all. But at the very least, he's cracking his clue, getting another Restoration Angel. Resto's huge. Okay, this second Resto can blink the Thraben Inspector and draw a card effectively. Yeah, so 2 mana is going to cast Sunlance, getting rid of that Pile Driver, and I don't think Richie's scared at all about anything Jesse has over on his Goblin side. And honestly, this is not an ideal matchup for Goblins. It doesn't do that well at getting through a mucked up board state, but it does even worse when it draws 5 lands. I would imagine that Jesse's deck has, what, 19 lands? 20 lands, something like that? Yeah, drawing 5 of them is pretty unfortunate for him. He does have a sweet altar on that mountain, though, which is pretty sweet. Richie will just be swinging again for 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, and Jesse's going to be deciding whether or not he blocks with his remaining guy. I don't think he should, and he doesn't. Puts him down to 5, and it goes back to Jesse's way. Now remember that Richie has both a Path and a Restoration Angel in hand. Oh man. And a Leonin Arbiter. Oh man, Richie's hand is just gas. Now this is the point in the game where the Leonin Arbiter, get rid of your lands thing, isn't going to be very ideal. So Richie's just going to hold up either Path or Restoration Angel. Remember that he can't do both, because Athalia would cost the Path, would make the path cost 1 more. Either way, we've got, is that 2 Goblin Grenades in hand? Oh man, wow, look at that. Richie was 1 turn away from dying, assuming Jesse draws a Goblin, which is most of his deck. Yeah, Jesse could have just gone Goblin off the top, playing both, Goblin Grenade for 5, Goblin Grenade for 5. But unfortunately, he was not able to, and Richie was able to take the game. That puts Richie up to 2-1 in the matchup, winning Richie the round. And let's see, it looks like Jesse's going to be pulling out. Yep, he did put in the roasts. So roast would hit the Golem token, it hits the, doesn't hit the Restoration Angel, because it says target creature without flying, if I remember correctly. And yep, he put in the Fork Bolt as well. Cool. So yeah, this Goblins deck looks sweet. Unfortunately, it could not get through the pile of First Strikers that is Death and Taxes. And yeah, that's round 1 for us. I'm gonna see if we can get anyone else in the booth. We've still got 17 minutes. I'm sure someone's going to their game 3. And if we can't, then the next round will start soon enough, because people will be finishing. So either way, we will be right back, either with another match in round 1 or round 2. Stick with us. See you later. Yeah, just whenever you go to the top view. How distracting is the sound of me shuffling cards like I'm doing right now? Can you hear it very well? How distracting is the sound of me shuffling cards? I'm Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'm just kind of curious. All right. Enough that I shouldn't do it while the thing's going. Yeah. It's a nice mic. Fixes it all. Yep. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are doing Modern here tonight at Paradise Games. My name is Adam, and I will be your caster tonight. We'll be going into round 2 momentarily here with Alex Gorman on Mono Black Midrange versus the reigning champion of the stream, Richie, on Death and Taxes. Now, we saw Richie take apart Goblins last match. Not sure how well it's going to work the same way against Mono Black. This Mono Black midrange deck is going to be playing some stuff like Jarl's Messenger and, what is it called? Gifted Aetherborn. Yep, exactly. Just a bunch of really good, solid creatures that cost black, and black, and black for Phyrexian Obliterator. I believe... I'm going to put my money on Alex for this one, just in terms of the matchup itself. I don't actually know either of these players. I'm not talking skill level or anything. I just think that the deck that's playing the Phyrexian Obliterators is going to beat the deck that's playing a bunch of creatures that don't really answer Phyrexian Obliterator. Either way, we will see momentarily how this goes, and here we go into round 2. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's a good time here. You should definitely come by and play if you're in the area, and otherwise, thanks for tuning into our stream. Drawing up our hands here, we've got, this looks pretty solid for Richie. I'm pretty sure he was on the play if I read those dice correctly, and he's got a turn 1 Aether Vial. It's ideal for him to have. Really makes the deck sing. Alex, on the other hand, I see, Grey Merch of Asphodel, Phyrexian Obliterator, Liliana, Liliana the Veil, a Thoughtseize, but I think that was only one swap, so we're going to see Alex Gorman put it back and go for a mulligan. Let's see, unfortunately for Richie, he's not really sniping any fetch lands in these matchups. Leonin Arbiter makes it harder for your opponents to search through their libraries, right? Against any of the, 4-color nonsense, 3-color control, people playing 14, 16 fetch lands, they have a real hard time dealing with Leonin Arbiter. But this mono red last round and mono black this round is, not as... Leonin Arbiter is not as effective as it could be otherwise. Still pretty good, especially when you're playing cards like Field of Ruin, Path to Exile, and Ghost Quarter in your deck. It's pretty interesting, the addition of Field of Ruin to the Death and Taxes list. It used to be that you only had one land that would effectively strip mine them, the Ghost Quarter. But with this latest set, Rivals of Ixalan, we're seeing Field of Ruin actually become one of the most played modern cards out of it, which is really, really cool to me, that we get to see these standard cards actually make an impact in Modern. This and that card in Search for Azcanta are huge. So it's yeah. Let's see, Alex over here, it looks like he's keeping his 6, which is good for him. And apparently I'm getting the information that Alex does play fetches in his deck. He has a tiny red splash in the board. So that's super neat. It doesn't look like we have a Leanin' Arbiter here, unfortunately for Richie, though. We have, in his hand, we have a Field of Ruin, a Thalia, a Blade Splicer, a Restoration Angel, and a Path. That would be a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop with an Aether Vial to go along with it. So this is probably pretty close to the ideal starting hand for Richie. Maybe trade out that Resto for a Leanin' Arbiter, but like even then, this is just phenomenal for Richie. One of the best hands you can draw up as long as Richie keeps drawing lands. Either way, this Inquisition of Kozilek that Alex is playing here will be taking one of the cards, which will muck up the works a little bit. Depending on what's in Alex's hand, I only saw Relentless Dead and Liliana of the Veil. Let's see, what else does he have? What are those? Leech-Ridden Swamp. Okay, so yeah, that's that land you see there on top. Oh, and Fulminator Mage. And the last card's a Swamp. Okay. Yes, we have Swamp, Leech-Ridden Swamp, Lily, Relentless Dead, and what's it called? Either way, we have a couple cards that make that Thalia is very annoying too, and so Alex is just gonna get rid of the Thalia right away. Going back to Richie, he draws another Restoration Angel. It's not a land, but it'll probably do. And Richie's going to not have a 2-drop, which is pretty unfortunate. Either way, Alex is going to be playing this, what's it called, Relentless Dead, and that is a very good, just solid creature. Let's see. So Richie over here is going to have his Aether Vial take up to 2 and draw a card. It is a land. Okay, so Richie probably ends up playing Blade Splicer here. I could imagine him waiting to flash it in next turn, but that seems a lot worse than just casting it here. Luckily enough for Richie, Alex's game plan is relatively slow, right? He has a couple creatures that are just good, Liliana the Veil, that kind of thing. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is an actual killer, but for the most part, Alex is going to be clogging up the board with resilient creatures. Richie will definitely have time to draw more lands and more threats and stuff. So him not having the 4th land here, I think it'll be fine. So Alex is deciding whether or not he wants to cast Liliana the Veil. Unfortunately, he can't. It doesn't really fit here that well. He'll be playing it, and it can. Let's see. So he can make Richie sack a creature. Okay, so he will be playing it, at the very least, and immediately ticking down. So Richie's going to sack a creature, which is interesting. So if Richie sacks the Golem, he'll be able to blink the Flicker. Use a Restoration Angel to blink the Blade Splicer and make more Golems, which is very good. But Richie's just going to think that he might not draw land next turn, so he shouldn't just get rid of his only attacker. Either way, Richie responded to the Liliana minus with a tapping of the Aether Vial, which doesn't actually do anything, but it's cute. Yeah. So, but Richie draws a Flicker Wisp. So this Flicker Wisp would have been able to blink the Blade Splicer, making more Golems, and then next turn, just tap the Aether Vial for 4 and put in a Restoration Angel blinking the Blaze. The Blaze Blaster would have gotten 3 or 4 triggers. But either way, this is actually working out fine for Richie. He'll be getting rid of the Relentless Dead in the most effective way possible, exiling it, and swinging to kill the Lily. So now Richie's hand is... Let's see, Richie's hand is Resto, Flicker Wisp, and it looks like Alex might be playing Phyrexian Obliterator if he has one. Alright, so this card he's playing right here is called Leech-Ridden Swamp. It's a swamp. It has the swamp like basic land type. It comes in play tapped. It says black tap. Each opponent loses 1 life. Only if you control 2 or more black permanents. So this guy right here is going to do a real good job of killing people through a very clogged up board state and getting them closer and closer to dying to Grey Merchant of Asphodel. You know, I don't think that Alex is going to be activating that this much or that much in this matchup because I'm not sure he can beat a 3/4 flyer. I don't think that Alex has flyers, and I think that a 3/4 flyer will just swing 7 times and kill him, which is a lot faster than the Leech-Ridden Swamp. Either way, we'll see. Richie's going to be blinking on end step. He's going to be tapping his Aether Vial and putting in a Flicker Wisp, targeting the Fulminator Mage. Now this is kind of interesting. Since this is during Alex's end step, not at the Flicker Wisp puts the thing back in at the beginning of the next end step. Now this, since this is during the middle of an end step, it won't come back until the end of Richie's turn, meaning he'll be able to get in with his Golem. But Alex is going to just respond by sacking it to get rid of Richie's Field of Ruin, putting Richie back on mana a little bit, and making it so that there just is no more Fulminator Mage. Richie has a swing for 3 here, putting Alex to, or for 6 here, sorry, putting Alex to what, 14? Yeah, okay. I guess he didn't take damage before, yeah. And it'll be back to Alex with a Restoration Angel in hand. What? Oh, okay. So we have a collective brutality here. It looks like it's being escalated once. So this collective brutality is doing -2/-2 on the Flicker Wisp and duress Richie's hand. Look at their hand and take a instant or sorcery. Richie's going to respond by activating Aether Vial, putting in a Restoration Angel, and blinking the Flicker Wisp. This Flicker Wisp, I'm assuming, will be targeting the Leech-Ridden Swamp. Not that really matters that much. The point is, it doesn't die. The point is now Richie has 9 power of attackers on board. And, yeah, this is going to be... Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Oh, so there is an interesting line he can take here, Richie. He can exile, yeah, he's exiling his own Restoration Angel, which will come back in during Alex's end step. So it'll come back in during the end step and flicker the Flicker Wisp, which will get rid of something of Alex's until the next end step, just like we had before. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to see an end step Restoration Angel come back into play, blink the Flicker Wisp, which will exile the... Yeah, Alex is just going to pack it up. Alex's Bitter Blossom that he just played is not going to create enough blockers or race in any way. A 3/1 flyer, a 3/4 flyer, and another 3/4 flyer that he doesn't even know Richie has. So Richie's going to take game 1 with his cadre of relatively large creatures. And we're going to be going back to sideboarding. Now, Richie here has the same sideboard we saw last round. We have 2 Dustodon, 2 Sunlands, 2 Burnt and Forged Tender, 3 Stony Silence, 4 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Mirren Crusader. Now, that Mirren Crusader at the end has protection from black and is a very good beater and is very good in clogged board states. That is, I believe, the first card that Richie's going to be putting into his deck. Richie might also be putting in Dusk Dawn. I'm not sure about that one. It'll be fine. But I think that those are really the only 2 real options for Richie. He could put in, various other... He could put in Relic of Progenitus if he really wants to hit that Relentless Dead, which might be worth it. Yeah, I guess. Either way, on Alex's side, yeah, I guess the Relic of Progenitus also interacts with Jarl's Messenger, but Richie didn't see it, so I don't think he'll be putting in the Relic of Progenitus. On the other side, Alex has a Knight of Souls Betrayal, which is great here, I think, right? Yeah, no, it seems very, very good. -1/-1 to all creatures. That kills Thalia, that kills Flicker Wisp, that kills... Yeah, no, that seems phenomenal. 3 Dreadbores, which might be coming in. It seems a bit expensive, and there's that red splash Alex is playing his fetch lands for. 2 Damnation, probably definitely coming in. Let's go with yes on the Damnations, because I would imagine that's what it's in here for, right? If you're not putting in Damnation against a creature matchup, why is it in your sideboard? 1 Collective Brutality, which is probably pretty good. 1 Lily on Death's Majesty, probably too slow. 2 Surgical Extraction, not necessary. 2 Nihil Spellbomb, also not necessary. And 1 Biforce, which does hit Golems, does hit Aether Vials, but I don't think that's where Alex wants to go. I don't think that's where he wants to be. So let's see, he's also got, what is that? 1 Knight of Souls Betrayal, 2 Damnation. Oh, I missed the 2 Fulminator Mages, sorry. Richie does have a lot of non-basic lands in his deck. He's got 4 Ghost Quarter, 4, some number of Tech Edge. I'm sure he has 4, oh, what are they called? The new Ghost Quarter. I'm just blanking on the name. Field of Ruin, yeah. So the Fulminator Mage might be able to actually get Richie unable to play cards. Okay, so Alex could put in the Biforce and the Fulminator Mages and try to starve Richie out on his mana. Unfortunately, I think that Alex's game plan is slow enough that Richie will just be able to draw those cards and come back into it anyway. So I don't think that's the game plan that Alex is going to want to sideboard into. Either way, both players have about 2 to 5 cards to put in. None of this 15 affinity hate nonsense sideboard plans. But yeah, we'll be going into game 2 momentarily. Richie is up the first game in the Death and Taxes versus Mono Black midrange matchup. Not exactly the most common matchup in Modern, but hey, sweet decks are sweet. I've definitely seen this Death and Taxes list a decent amount, but Mono Black midrange, other than the one other person I know here in Bellingham who plays it, I haven't really seen it put up results at all. I suppose Phyrexian Obliterator was printed in Masters 25, which does make it easier to go into this deck. It was a, like $30 card? It might still be, actually. I'm kind of curious. I'll just look it up real quick. Phyrexian Obliterator is, it's $17. Yeah, so the Phyrexian Obliterator being a little bit cheaper makes it a decent amount easier to get into this deck. And, yeah. There's also another card coming in Dominaria that costs black. And that is... Oh, what is it? I remember thinking, oh, this looks really good. Might be good in Mono Black Devotion and Modern. I'll look it up real quick while we go into game number 2 here. So turn 1 for Alex. Oh, Dreadshade, there it is. Yeah. So a 3/3 for black. This says black. Dreadshade gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is a decent mana sink for the Mono Black deck, and it's just a 3/3 for 3. That's fine. I don't know. Might go in this deck, might not. We've seen a decent amount of these already printed, where we have Nantuko Shade is already in Modern and not really making a splash. But what this does, it'll be able to swing every single turn, and it kind of has to be blocked because it might get too big for the other creature deck to be able to deal with. And 3 toughness is a lot. It's much bigger than the 2/2 on Shade, which means it probably just eats a creature every turn. Either way, we have an actual game to talk about. Is Shade a 2/1? I thought it was a 2/2. It's a 2/1. No, that just doesn't. Yeah, Nantuko Shade's a 2/1. Yep. Yeah, so this new guy seems great, actually, the more I think about it. Either way, into game 2 here, we have turn 1 Inquisition, Kozilek takes Thalia. Richie comes back with a Thraben Spectre, and Alex gets a turn 2 Bitter Blossom, which is much better than the turn 7 Bitter Blossom that he had last game. Yeah, so Bitter Blossom's going to be pumping out creatures. Used to be banned in Modern. Did not make a splash when it was unbanned. Not really. I've seen it, probably 5 times in play in Modern since it got unbanned. So either way, Richie's going to be playing a second Thraben Inspector, which is not really the turn 2 that he wants, and he'll be playing a Relic of Progenitus. So he did put it in, and he'll be immediately exiling a card out of Alex's graveyard. So interesting thing here, he might have put it in expecting Tasigur or Gurmag Angler to be in Alex's deck, which is entirely reasonable, I would imagine. What Richie's able to do here is he's able to exile on his own turn, meaning that Alex won't be able to just immediately go and delve something big. Or it'll be 1 card more expensive. I think Gurmag Angler is a reasonable thing that Alex could have in his deck, although I don't think he has one. Either way, Alex plays, it looks like, some number of Smoldering Marshes, which is pretty cool. It's the red-black land that comes into play untapped if you have 2 other basic lands, which means he's not really going to be hampered by the life loss that Blood Crypt would have. And since he's only probably playing 1 of them and a decent number of fetches, he'll be able to have an effectively free splash most of the time. Alex is going to be playing a Thoughtseize here to take the Blade Splicer out of Richie's hand, leaving him with a Flicker Wisp and a Ghost Quarter, which is probably a bit less than ideal for Richie. Flicker Wisp, Ghost Quarter doesn't even cast Flicker Wisp. And the drawn Thalia is fine, but that's about it. Alex is going to exile a card from his yard to that Relic of Progenitus. Richie's almost definitely going to be playing his Ghost Quarter here. And it might be that Richie's game plan here is end step, sacrifice my Field of Ruin to go get a Plains for himself so that he actually has the colors to cast Flicker Wisp. But instead it looks like Richie's just going to be playing Thalia and passing a turn after swinging for 2 with his Thraben Inspectors. Yeah. So it's a Relentless Dead drawn for Alex. And yeah, he'll be playing in a sec. Now that Flicker Wisp is not very good against a pile of 1/1 fairy tokens that are coming out of Bitter Blossom, but it's entirely possible that Richie swings and Alex blocks with the rest of his creature tokens, or everything down to 1. Oh, that's bad. Well, Kalidas is very, very good here. I was thinking the Flicker Wisp could exile like the last fairy token, and that could be the deciding factor in a swing, but oh man, is Kalidas going to make this hard for Richie. 3/4 for 4, lifelink. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead it gets exiled, and the Kalidas guy gets to make it a zombie. And on top of that, Kalidas can sack zombies to make himself bigger. And so he can like sack the Relentless Dead and then get it back and get something else back and make Kalidas huge and then swing with lifelink. And also, this Kalidas makes it so if ever Richie wants to just swing with some of his creatures and trade some, or block and trade, Richie's creatures will be exiled and the Alex will be getting a bunch of zombies, which just makes it harder for Richie. And yeah, Kalidas is a really, really powerful Magic card in mid-range matchups. We'll see soon enough, though, how exactly annoying it is for Richie. I think he'll be able to deal with it, but 1/1 flyers and Kalidas, just as a combination, are really, really good against a 2/1, a bunch of 1/2s, and a Flicker Wisp. So it just seems like Alex's game plan is matching up really well against Richie this time, which is good for him. It's really good for him. I want to see game 3. This is a really cool matchup. So we have our life totals at 20 and 10 for Alex, who has hit himself for a decent amount of damage. I think that's 2 fetches, a Thoughtseize, and 2 Bitter Blossom triggers. Yeah, so Richie's aggro plan is fine. And also, Thraben Inspectors did a little bit of work, putting Alex down to 10. Let's see what we've got here for Richie. He's tanking pretty hard on his turn, which is fair. He has an uphill battle here. but it looks like he just cracked a clue, drew a Thalia, and passed the turn back. Thalia might be one of the worst draws in Richie's entire deck there, because he just has another Thalia and it's not doing anything. So it's not like the redundant Thalia is going to be relevant. Either way, Alex is going to be playing a Relentless Dead here. 2/2 for 2, Menace. And when it dies, you may pay black. If you do, return it to its hand. And when it also dies, you can pay X. If you do, return another zombie to play if it costs X or less. So, Richie... Is he scooping up his cards? I doubt it. Nah, Richie's just thinking. Okay. So, Richie's going to triple block here. So it's a 2 power, a 1 power, and a 1 power, which will be able to trade with a Cletus. Cletus will be able to eat the Thraben Inspector and the Thalia. Unfortunately for Richie, that is all assuming that Alex does not sack the Relentless Dead to the Cletus, making it 2 +1/+1 counters bigger. Looks like Alex does see the line of activate the creature I put in my deck for this very purpose. So it looks like Cletus is just going to mow down Richie's entire board, gain a ton of life, and make 3 zombies? Oh no, this is really bad. Yeah. So Richie, remember how Richie exiled that that was this game, right? When Richie exiled that Relentless Dead? No, that was last game. Never mind. Yeah, so Richie really needed to path this game to deal with that Cletus, and he'd be pretty far ahead at that point. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to beat Alex gaining a bunch of life and making 3 zombies, as well as Richie losing his entire board. And so we're going to go back to the sideboard. Going into game 3 here, I don't think much is going to change between these players' decks. There's a couple decks that really want certain things on the play and take them out on the draw, but I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to just be playing whatever best cards they have at the time and just hoping that they draw the best and the correct ones in the right sequence. So, you know, every creature deck ever. Yeah. Looks like Alex is looking at his sideboard, and Richie is too, and they're just making sure that everything is exactly as they want them. And we'll be going back into the game in just a moment. Again, for those of you just joining us, my name is Adam. I'm your caster for tonight, and you are watching Paradise Games Thursday Night Modern stream. Welcome, and thank you for watching. We're excited to have you here, and we are excited to, let's see. So yeah, we also have a new overlay going on, and so far I really like it, at least. Yeah, comment in the Twitch chat one way or the other if you like it or don't like it. So yeah, no, it's great. You can really see a lot more than you used to be able to, and it's a good overlay. Either way, we're going to be shuffling back up and going into game 3 here between Richie and Alex. Mono white Death and Taxes versus mono black Midrange. And again, oh man, we're back to 1-1, right? So after seeing those 2 games, what do you guys in Twitch chat think? Who has the advantage just on deck choice? What do you think is going to be able to win? The 3/1, 3/4 flyers, or the deck with Bitter Blossom and Phyrexian Obliterator? Let us know in the chat if you have a preference one way or the other, or a what's it called? Prediction one way or the other. There it goes. All right, so Richie and Alex will be drawing up, and it'll be Richie on the play, right? Yeah. I think if Richie gets an Aether Vial, it's going to be a lot better than if he doesn't get it. You know, it might be that the game is decided by Richie having an Aether Vial and being able to play effectively 2 cards a turn. But that was not an Aether Vial hand. Versus, is that 7 swamps? Oh, that's fantastic. Or is that 5 swamps? One of those. I think there was a Relentless Dead in there. Either way, Alex drew enough swamps that he's going to mulligan, and Richie didn't draw. I don't think he drew a single land, so we're both going down to 6 here. As Alex announces Yahtzee. Let's see. Personally, I'm going to have to go with mono black again for my prediction to be a slightly better deck in the matchup. Again, Kalidas and Obliterator are just huge. What are you going to do with your silly 3/1 first striker against either of those creatures ever? Also, if Richie... Basically, if Alex gets his crazy good mid-range creatures, my vote's on Alex. If Alex's hand is, Hand Disruption, Bitter Blossom, like 2 removal spells, and a 2-drop, I'm pretty sure Richie is able to come back and actually win that game. You don't even have to come back, you can just stay ahead. Richie has a Path, a Thraben Inspector, a Field of Ruin, a Plains, and a Flicker Wisp, and 1 other card. That is an easy keep for Richie. He has a turn 1, he has a turn 3, I think he can sack his clue on turn 2 if he doesn't have anything else to have, anything else to play. Alex is going to keep his hand as well, and he's, Alex points out that his deck is probably better than you think it is, but that is definitely about 90% Thoughtseize. That, Thoughtseize, as it turns out, is a very powerful card in Modern. And being able to rip your opponent's hand apart before it's even played is huge. It's one of the best things. It's one of the best things about Mono Black. And honestly, that's about the same thing about Jund. The Jund deck in Modern also gets to play great mid-range creatures, Thoughtseize, removal spells. I think the reason that Jund sees more play than this Mono Black deck is because stuff like Bloodbraid Elf is just so much better, probably, than the threats that Alex is playing in this Mono Black deck. Or at the very least, they're able to answer a wider field. So the, what's it called? The threats that Alex is playing are very, very good in creature matchups, right? And they're very good against any grindy mid-range deck. Obliterator's going to be better than anything Jund can play ever, like always, against those matchups. But Jund gets to diversify their threats and their answers, play like Maelstrom Pulse, play Fatal Push, which I'm sure Alex could play if he wants to, he might be. They also get to play Lightning Bolt. They get to diversify what they're doing. Scavenging Ooze. And so they'll be able to actually beat other strategies that this Mono Black midrange deck would probably struggle a little bit against. Even though in the mid-range matches with like he's in right now, I definitely put my money on the Obliterator deck. Obliterator's so sweet. It's just huge. Alright, so Richie's gonna go to his turn. He sacrificed his clue on Alex's turn 2 at the end step. And Richie looks like he's gonna be reading Bitter Blossom, and does he have a land? It looks like he has a Mirren Crusader. Oh, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. I believe it was last round. This Death and Taxes deck can get color screwed pretty easily if they just don't draw enough planes. This is happening right here. Richie would easily be able to just play Plains Mirren Crusader. And that swings through every single creature that Alex has. It swings through every single removal spell that Alex has. And it would probably win the game in like 4 turns. But Richie can't cast it because all of his utility lands are colorless. It's such a shame. For Richie, that is. He will still be able to play cards like Thalia here, which is fine. It's good. Anyway, Alex is going to be taking a point of damage and going down to 17 and getting a fairy after Richie swings for 1 with the Thraben Inspector. Let's see. Interesting. Oh, that's a Delta. It's not a Watery Grave. Just kidding. Alex is playing a Gifted Aetherborn here. 2/3 for 2. Death Touch Lifelink. Just good. Just big. Blocks Thalia all day long. Blocks Thraben Inspector all day long as well. Yeah, it's I don't think that Richie's going to be swinging through that guy anytime soon, as and Alex is going to be able to use that to ramp to as a stepping block up into playing his better and better cards, bigger and bigger cards. Yeah, Richie's probably just going to pass the turn here, hold up Path to Exile, and be able to Field of Ruin Alex, use the planes to path, and then untap with white and play, what's it called? Mirror Crusader. On the other hand, if Alex just fetches a swamp, Richie won't be able to activate that Field of Ruin. If he gets Leech Ridden Swamp, though, then... Yeah. Oh, is that... Never mind. That is a Smoldering Marsh under the swamp. I thought that was 2 swamps. No, we're good. Yeah, Richie always gets to use his Field of Ruin if he wants to. So that's good. That's really good for him. Is this it looks like we went through Alex's turn. He got a fairy, and he's doing Richie's doing it draw step. Okay. Yeah. So after you draw a card, activate Field of Ruin. Yeah. So the reason you want to do it on draw step is, let's say Alex is playing 2 basic land in his deck. One of them is in play. One of them is in his deck. If on Alex's draw step you Alex draws that last swamp, then he won't be able to find a land with the Field of Ruin, but Alex won't be able to use the swamp that it's not like he'll be able to tap it for mana or anything and use it during his main phase, because it'll empty between phases. Alex, on the other hand, is going to find a red source with his Polluted Delta. Yeah, everyone's still absolutely fine in this game, but Richie has white now, so that's great. And Alex is going to probably cast a 3-drop that is relevant. What do we got? Dreadbore. Yep. Dreadbore will be paid for with 3 mana and hit Thalia, which is good. It hits a relevant target and is going to be, as good as destroy target creature ever gets. But Richie is going to have a Mirran Crusader here. I just don't think Alex can beat that. Not really. Not within time, at least, because Mirran Crusader is a hefty beater. This is, of course, contingent on Richie feeling like Mirran Crusader is the right play here. Which it is, I believe. And here it is. Richie's playing it, and it'll be great. It'll be huge. Alright. I believe we're back to Alex on the other side, and he's deciding what to do during his turn. Alex is down to 12, which is, 3 hits for a Mirror Crusader? With that double strike, it'll be hitting for 4 every single turn. And I think there's a world in which Alex kills that Thraben Inspector, and then plays Lily on the Veil and makes Richie sacrifice his last creature. That would deal with the Mirror Crusader, but man, does he not have time for that. Richie also has, I think that's 1 or 2 Restoration Angels in hand. And Path to Exile and Relic of Progenitus. As well as, a couple other cards? I don't know. I think Richie's going to have enough creatures that line won't work. So, Alex needs to start racing the Mirror Crusader. That doesn't happen very often. Like, winning that race at least. Let me tell you, from all the experience I have in Cube, playing a black-green deck and seeing them slam Mirror Crusader, just as bad here as it is there. Flicker Wisp will be able to give the Mirror Crusader Vigilance, I suppose, which is relevant against any racing situation. And it's good against Aetherborn's Lifelink. There's a lot of, so Richie will be able to swing for 4 here. Hit Alex down to 8. Then play Flicker Wisp, go to end step, put Mirror Crusader back into play. And then it's able to then block the, Gifted Aetherborn. Meaning the Gifted Aetherborn won't deal damage, and therefore will not gain any life off Lifelink.
because Mirror Crusader has protection from black. So that is a decent way to do that. And then, of course, next turn, if Richie just draws a land, he'll be able to do the same thing with a Restoration Angel, and then we're pretty much wrapped up for the round for Richie. But we still definitely have to get there. Richie will be, what was it, going to, yeah. Richie swing for 4, does exactly what I said, and we are golden. Goes over to Alex. Untap, make a Bitter Blossom token down to 7. Play a Lilion in the Last Hope. Okay. Lilion is going to use its +1 to make Flicker Wisp a 5-0. No, sorry, a 1-0. Turns out 1-0s die in this game of Magic. Neither player is cheating, which is good. Good for them. And we go back over to Richie. Alright, Richie draws a Blade Splicer. Well, that clogs up the board pretty well, doesn't it? Richie, also blocks... Oh, yeah. Did Alex swing with the Aetherborn? I don't think he did. Yeah, either way. Richie, Richie's gonna be playing, I believe, Blade Splicer. Okay. I think Richie just wants to ride this Mirror Crusader to victory and do everything he can to make sure it lives. Yeah. Just as many, I don't know. How does Richie lose this game, right? He has to lose on an attack, probably, that Alex sends his way in 2 turns. So Alex does have that much damage on board. He has 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power on board. 2 of it lifelinking. So Richie's going to need to find a way to either gain a bunch of life, make Alex's game plan worse, or just be able to survive through it by, I would imagine, playing a bunch of creatures and using those to block the Aetherborn and the Relentless Dead and that kind of thing, which means I'm pretty sure Blade Splicer is the best play here. Yeah, there's the Blade Splicer. So when Alex swings next turn, I'm sure he will first kill the Blade Splicer to get rid of the first strike on the Golem, so that when Gifted Aetherborn attacks, it will gain the 2 life. Without doing that, yeah, so there he goes. The first strike damage would kill the Golem. No, sorry, the first strike damage would kill the Gifted Aetherborn, meaning the Gifted Aetherborn never deals damage, never gains life. But it looks like, wow, this is actually a very, very close game. The Relentless Dead does have Menace, so it's kind of hard to block. But Alex only has, yeah, okay, Alex only has 8 damage here. Huh. See soon enough what Alex is doing here. Casting Damnation. No, not cast. Oh no, he's pulling out Damnation. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, no, what I was like, how did he cast Damnation here? Yeah, okay. Alex is conceding the match to Richie. Richie's gonna end up going 2-0 as Alex falls down to 1-1. Good job to Richie for being able to slog through that, and props to Mirror Crusader for just being amazing in black mid-range matchups. Wow, that was a sweet game. That was a really complex board state we had there, but again, Mirror Crusader. All right, we have 8 minutes left on the clock this round, and I think the other matches are finished up, so we'll be able to go right into round 3 in just a moment. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching.
hear me? Yeah, I'm ready. Hey everyone, welcome back to our stream. We've got our round 3 from Modern here. This is going to be the last round. Looks like we've got Doff on 5-color humans, good deck, against not Goblins on mono black midrange. I know that. This is the Goblins deck we saw on round 1, and I don't remember his name, but he is on Goblins against 5-color humans. So this 5-color humans decks for Jesse. There we go, Jesse on Goblins. This 5-color humans deck is a very good one. It has a lot of different tools it has to use. Aether Vial, bunch of humans in all 5 colors, and I think it should be pretty good into Goblins. On the other hand, Goblins could definitely just run it over. Since Doff is going to be playing and relying on a bunch of creatures, if any of those creatures are too small or he doesn't want to block with them or something like that, could be that Jesse just gets in there before Doff's able to do anything about it. Here we go. Both players are keeping their 7, which is fantastic. And we got turn 1 Aether Vial against turn 1 Mog Fanatic. It's the one that sacrifices itself to deal the damage wherever it wants. Back to Doff. He's going to put his counter on Aether Vial. And play... Oh, it's got to be the Champion of the Parish off the Aether Vial, right? Let's see. Doff's hand is land, Phantasmal Image, Champion of the Parish. So I'm sure both of those caverns are naming, one of them's naming Human, one of them's naming Illusion. Doff would be able to tap his vial to put in the Champion of the Parish, and then play a Phantasmal Image, copying the... Oh, this is not going to work well. Okay, this is okay. So Doff's gonna cast Phantasmal Image with a 1/1 Champion of the Parish in play. Jesse is going to respond to that by sacking his Mog Fanatic to destroy the Champion of the Parish. Now, unfortunately, that means that this illusion is going to be a 0/0 and just die. So that's not great for Doff. Remember that thing I said about the Goblins deck just establishing a board state and running over the humans? That might very well happen here. We have 2 Foundry Street Denizens. It's the 1/1 that gets bigger whenever a red creature comes into play. That is a very good start to next turn. Hasty guy, Goblin Bushwhacker in. Looks like Doff does have a Mantis Rider though, and he will be swinging for 3 with Vigilance and Flying. So that's really good against the deck full of a bunch of tiny guys on the ground. Jesse has another land. He'll be paying red for a Legion Loyalist, and paying... Oh, there it is. Okay, here it is. All his creatures get +1/+0. His Foundry Street Denizens each get +2/+0 from the other creatures coming into play. So those Foundry Street Denizens are 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 power Foundry Street Denizens, and 2 power Legion Loyalist and Goblin Bushwhacker, all swinging with haste and with the Legion Loyalist trigger. Wow. Okay, so Doff basically, and they all have First Strike and Trample, right? So Doff basically has to block the Legion Loyalist and kill it, meaning he's taking 4, 4, and 2. He's taking 10 down to 10 here. Now, if Jesse has any more gas in his hand, he might be able to just run over Doff next turn because Doff's hand is just a bunch of lands. Let's see, what does Doff draw? This is going to be a relevant draw for Doff. Doff gets a Champion of the Parish. Okay, that's fine. We'll be playing Horizon Canopy and sacking it. And drawing another card. What do we have? Is that Noble Hierarch? Okay, so Doff's going to be able to go for a Champion of the Parish and then cast Noble Hierarch. Give his Mantis Rider Exalted. Swing for 4. I believe Doff's life total should be at 10. Not at 20, but we'll get that sorted as soon as we can. And so Doff will have theoretically a 2/2, a 0/1, and a 4/4 attacker, which will be a 3/3 on Jesse's turn. So I think Doff will have enough creatures to actually block Jesse's onslaught. What is that Jesse has in his hand? Is that a Goblin Chieftain? Is that a... looks like a Searing Spear almost. No, it's a Goblin Chieftain. Okay, yeah. Jesse's hand is great. It looks like... oh, right. Doff, one of Doff's caverns is on illusion, meaning he can only cast one of his... oh, sad days for Doff. Doff could have tapped the illusion cavern for his Horizon Canopy and had the mana to go champion the Parish Noble Hierarch. But he wasn't able to. He didn't. So now... okay. So what do we have? We have 2 3/2 goblins, a 2/2 goblin, a 2/2 goblin. Lightning Bolt hits the Mantis Rider and in. If Doff blocks one of the 3/2s, he'll be taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage down to 3, and then yeah, I don't see how Doff gets out of this. With 2 cards in hand, if he draws like what, Reflector Mage? Yeah, that's... he can go like land Reflector Mage. I think Doff has to tick up to 3 here. There he goes. He does it. Okay. It is... what was that? Was that our... that wasn't a Reflector Mage, was it? No, that's not a Reflector Mage. The back of his hand. Come on, Doff. Don't cover up what's in your hand. Oh, it's a Thalia. Okay. Yeah, Thalia does not do it, I don't think. So, yeah, that does it for Doff. He's going to pack it in. Meddling Mage on top, Aether Vial on top, Aether Vial on top. Yeah, he wasn't going to be able to live, basically no matter what he did there. And so yeah, Jesse was able to take advantage of this slight misplay by Doff at the beginning of the game to just tempo through and win. Yeah, underneath Doff. I mean, if he gave Doff 3 more turns, I'm sure Doff would have been able to set up a whole, mess of humans, but that's what the Goblin deck is trying to do. Swing and kill you before the other deck is able to set up. Now, if we could get the left sideboard fixed, it's kind of small. On the right here, for Jesse, we've got 2 Reality Hemorrhages, 2 Roasts, 1 Goblin Pile Driver, 2 Fork Bolt, 3 Smash of Smithereens, 3 Tormod's Crypt, and 2 Dragon's Claw. Now... let's see. Reality Hemorrhage is fine. It hits Meddling Mage, it hits Thalia, it hits a couple of the like high priority targets, which is pretty sweet. Roast does a similar thing. We have 2 Fork Bolts. I don't think Fork Bolt is going to Fork Bolt's probably good enough. If I'm saying Reality Hemorrhage goes in, then Fork Bolt of course has to go in. So I would put in a couple pieces of removal if I was Jesse. At least the 2 Roasts, probably 2 Fork Bolts as well, because they hit, Heritage or Noble Hierarch, stuff like that. On Doff's side, we have 2 Dismember, 2 Zathrid Necromancer, 1 Thalia Heretic Cathar, which probably definitely goes in, 1 Cabal Consul of Allocation, 2 Vithian Renegade, 1 Kataki, 2 Sin Collector, 2 Izzet Staticaster, which is great here, 1 Dark Confidant, and 1 Hostage Taker. So for Doff, I think I'm putting in maybe the Necromancer, probably the Thalia, probably the 2 Staticasters as well. So yeah, I think the main thing he wants is the 2 Staticasters because they actually just gun down Jesse's entire board. All right, back into game 2 here. We have oh yeah, he did put in the Necromancer. See. Alright, it looks like Doff's going to be keeping that hand. It looks phenomenal. He has a Kessig Malcontents, a Thalia, Heretic Cathar, an Aether Vial on 1, a Zathrid Necromancer, and a couple lands. So, it's slightly less than ideal that he has a bunch of 3-drops and an Aether Vial, because you really want to have like a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3, a curve. But if Doff survives till turn 3 or 4, he'll be fine. Jesse, on the other hand, is going to get a Goblin or a Legion Loyalist in on turn 1 for 1 damage. It ain't bad. His Legion Loyalist is probably going to end up being relevant, especially with the Thalia Heretic Cathar. Oh, look at that. Thalia's Lieutenant was the draw for Doff. Oh man, yeah. Thalia's Lieutenant here, next turn Thalia. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good curve. The Thalia's Lieutenant keeping Oh, he's not going to play it here, right? Because next turn he'll have the Aether Vial, and he can still get it in before the Thalia. He'll be able to Aether Vial it in, cast Thalia, and that way he doesn't open himself up to a, 1 point of damage or something, killing it before it's relevant. This Legion Loyalist is going to get in for 1 as Jesse casts a Mog War Marshal, making another 1/1 Goblin, which he'll be making a decision on whether or not to echo it next turn. And we go back to Doff. Doff plays his land. Is that 2 Thalias? That's unfortunate. Doff is going to cast Thalia, Heretic Athar, and retain priority probably? Yeah. Or no. No, he's just going to do it the other way around. So he's going to cast Thalia, and then vial in Thalia's lieutenant, putting a +1/+1 counter on each creature he controls. Each human, sorry, he controls. Making the Thalia a 5/4. Or 4/3, sorry. Wait, is it 3/2 normal? Yeah. Making it a 4/3. I can count. 4/3. 4/3 first strike is quite solid, but it will also just die to roast. Yep, roast is great here. And this other 1 mana will make another Legion. Oh, wow! This is straight fire for Jesse. He's going to be able to swing here for 3, get his first strike triggers off the Legion Loyalists, and Doff will be going down to 14 percent with a single Thalia's Lieutenant in play. I believe Doff is going to want to activate it, so trigger on the stack, his own Aether Vial trigger, activate it, putting in with it on the stack, tap it, put in the Thalia's Lieutenant, and then let it resolve and go up to 3 counters. Because that lets him play a 3-drop here. Alright, he's just going to leave it on 2. That does the same thing. It's fine. My way's just slightly spicier. He can't cast the Staticaster he just drew, or can he? No. Doff does not have blue-red. I'm sure that we'll catch that in just a moment. Yeah, womp. That's the problem with playing some of these lands in the 5-color deck. You want Horizon Can because you need it to draw cards, and green and white is relevant for a lot of your stuff, but if you don't have... The reason the deck works is you have 3 different lands or 3 different sets of 4 lands in the deck that all produce all 5-color mana for all of your humans. And that lets you play these blue, red, black, white, green, everything humans. Unfortunately, if you don't draw those lands, sometimes you just can't cast all 5 colors of your humans. Either way, the Zathra Necromancer is a 3/3. Whenever it or another creature you control non-token creature you control dies, make a 2/2 zombie. Oh no, it's just another human. Okay, great. It just is a human tribal guy. That's neat. Jesse, on the other hand, is going to be playing a Mog Fanatic, and he's got... Is that a Goblin Grenade? I'm pretty sure it's Mountain Goblin Grenade in hand. Yeah, Mountain Goblin Grenade. Okay, so... what are we doing if we are Jesse? So he's got a bunch of 1/1s. Yup, that's what he has, a bunch of 1/1s. Doff's side of the field is a lot stronger currently. Okay, Doff is going to be thinking about these blocks. I think it'll be relatively easy to just block both of your bigger creatures on the 2 Legion Loyalists because they're still just 1/1s. Doff remarks, they're all 1/1s, aren't they? What are you doing over there? As he blocks with his board and trades off one of his Thalia's Lieutenants for most of Jesse's board. That seems great for him. The bit of a misplay there by Doff. The 1/1 Thalia's Lieutenant, maybe it's a misplay. Might not even be a misplay, honestly. The 1/1 Thalia's Lieutenant dies to the first strike. The first strike damage that the Legion Loyalist gave the 1/1 Goblin token. So now that we've got creature tokens, this Legion Loyalist trigger making tokens unable to block might be relevant, but now both the Legion Loyalists are dead. So that's unfortunate. We currently have, 1 damage marked on both the Zathra Necromancer and the Thalia's Lieutenant. but both of them are too big for the Mog Fanatic to kill. Yeah, this is just unfortunate in every way for Jesse. Zathra Necromancer builds a board pretty well. Alright. Goblin Grenade's going to take out the Thalia's Lieutenant, and we're back to Doff having 2 zombie tokens and a 3/3 Zathra Necromancer at 12 life. That's pretty healthy for him. And he ticked up his Aether Vial up to 3. He has a Is It Staticaster in hand, and a Kessig Freebooter, and a Kessig Malcontent. Or, sorry, not a whatever it's called. Direfleet No. Is that Direfleet Daredevil? Oh, that's just a Direfleet Daredevil. That's not Kessig Malcontent. No, that is a Kessig Malcontent. What are you? Definitely a Kessig Malcontent. Okay, great. So this freebooter here is going to see just a single mountain. Yeah, there's the Kessig Malcontent. 3/1 for 3. When it comes into play, damage them equal to the number of your humans. It's great. Hits them for like 5 a lot of the time. It's really, you can do some really crazy stuff with this, like put it into play. In response to its trigger, you vial in a phantasmal image copying it. They see each other, and then like 12 your opponent or something. It gets gross. It's amazing. You wouldn't ever want more than one of it in the deck, though, I don't think. Either way, Doff is going to be able to flash in an Is It Staticaster on end step, kill a Goblin token, untap, kill the Mog Fanatic, and probably go on to win the game at that point. Unless Jesse does something pretty drastic right now. Which I'm not sure he can. Looks like end step, Doff is going to put in the correct creature, the Is It Staticaster. And in response to activation, Jesse will Lightning Bolt it. Okay, yeah, fair play. Either way, the Goblin token dies. And it dying gives Doff another 2/2 creature token. He's got 3 of those now. Probably be helpful if on the stream we'd use actual creature tokens, but that is a 3. There we go. He now also has a Daredevil in hand, the other red human. But let's see, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage coming in at Jesse. He can just block 1 and before damage go upstairs for a damage to Doff. Putting Doff at 11. Looks like that's what he did. Or he just blocked with it. I don't know. Either way, Jesse's going to be going down to 6. And this Kessig Malcontent is going to be hitting him for 3. And Direfleet Daredevil will be casting Lightning Bolt out of the yard for 3 damage. Oh, Direfleet Daredevil gets there. That's great. Oh, that's phenomenal. I love that. Okay. Doff is going to take this one, and we're going to be going to a game 3. We've had 3 games every single match here. That's really nice. Get to see one deck do its thing, get to see the other deck do its thing, and then a tiebreaker. Yeah, so this human's deck gets really... all of its creatures are individually relatively weak, but they all have this great synergy with each other, making it so that each of them is just, you know, a 4/4 for 1, or whatever else. A 3/1 for 3 that comes in and hits your opponent for 6 damage. That card's crazy. Either way, yeah, synergy is the name of the game, especially when you're playing a 5-color deck with a bunch of creatures in it. So it doesn't look like our players are going to be sideboarding much, because, you know, they put in their sideboard stuff for game 2. And, yeah, we'll be going to game 3 in just a moment. Thanks for joining us, by the way, for our Thursday Night Modern here at Paradise Games in Bellingham. We've got a bunch of events, and this is one of them. We've got an event every night, right? Something like that? Or at least most nights. Tonight is Modern, tomorrow is Standard. Let's see, Saturday... Oh, there's a... I don't know what's going on this weekend. There's a couple Dominaria pre-releases here and there that could be messing with the event schedule. Either way, stuff every day. You should come in. It's a great store. Going back to it, game 3, our players are looking at their hands. I'm pretty sure Doff is keeping that one. 3 lands, 2 Thalias, a Thalia's Lieutenant, and an Aether Vial. Yeah, it looks great. Jesse, on the other hand, will be... Doff isn't keeping that? Huh.
turn 1 Aether Vial, turn 2 Thalia, turn 3 Thalia's Lieutenant. The first Thalia dies, play another Thalia. That seems great, but okay, sure. He does want to actually affect the board on turn 2 as much as possible, but I don't know. Turn 1 First Striker seemed good against the Goblin deck. I guess he is on the draw. Sure. So being on the draw does make that worse. Okay. I'd buy that. Does draw land? Oh, well, he'll be shuffling that. He doesn't draw land anyway. He's mulliganing. Yeah. He doesn't draw a single land. So Doff will be going down to 5, unfortunately for him. Jesse will be probably either keeping or mulliganing, one of those. Jesse says the classic lands and spells. We ride. Doff's 5 is looking not great. He doesn't have lands. Yeah. Should have kept that first one. He's scrying to the top. All right, Doff's on the draw. That isn't uncharted territory on top. So Doff is going to be able to go turn 1 Aether Vial with a turn 2 Noble Hierarch. He's fine. He is absolutely fine. And the Goblin Guide will draw it for him. Okay. Yeah, we are... Okay. This hand for Doff really shaped. There's a second land. Oh, Doff is so in. That's great. Then now we have the question, what do you do on turn 1? Noble Hierarch or Aether Vial? And I agree with Doff that it is Aether Vial because the Hierarch could die to Inlog Fanatic. And that's... Or Lightning Bolt for that matter. That's really good for him. Oh man. Okay. People Driver for Jesse. And he's going to swing for 2. Goblin Pile Driver. He'll be swinging for 2 with the Goblin Guide. That is a Thalia, which blocks Pile Driver very well. Goes to Doff's turn, up to 1 counter on the Aether Vial. Play a land. He's probably just going to cast Thalia here, and then Vial in a Noble Hierarch on turn. At the end of Jesse's turn, untap, cast Reflector Mage, and hope that that's good enough, I would imagine. Yeah, so this Thalia here. Interesting that he's Vialing in the Noble Hierarch now instead of the end of Jesse's turn. Shouldn't matter that much. It's just, you know, a choice. Jesse's gonna Lightning Bolt Thalia because of course, otherwise he can't swing ever. Wow, this Legion Loyalist is huge. Alright. So we're gonna swing. Doff will be that Pile Driver is gonna go up to a 5 power with Trample and First Strike. I hope Doff realizes it has Trample and doesn't block. Yep. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, putting Doff at 8, revealing a Champion of the Parish. That's not bad. That is actually not bad. Okay. So, let's see. Doff could go... Okay. He could take up his Vial and go Reflector Mage, copy the Reflector Mage, which is good. He could... If he hadn't taken up his Vial like that, he could have gone Champion of the Parish, play Reflector, like Champion of the Parish on the Vial, play Reflector Mage, which isn't as good literally right now, but probably builds up better over the course of the game. But I think that, yeah, Reflector Mage copy it is solid. Very, very solid. Reflector Mage, bounce the Pile Driver, it's gotta be. And then I would imagine that he's gonna... Or bounce the Legion Loyalist. Okay, yeah. No. Pro Blue. Yeah, Pro Blue. Ha! That's great. Silly Pile Driver. Pile Driver's going to be swinging for damage here, because now Doff doesn't have blockers. Oh, that protection from blue on Goblin Pile Driver is so relevant never. But when it is, it's huge. Either way, Jesse now cannot cast creatures named Goblin Guide or Legion Loyalist next turn. I think he'll be okay. Oh, he drew another Legion Loyalist. Oh, no. Okay, what's he going to do in its place? If he has like a Mog War Marshal or something, that'd be great here. Just to start building back a board. Not sure if he does. Okay, roast the Reflector Mage. That's totally respectable. And swing for 1. Putting Doff down to 7. Alright, so Doff has a image copying Reflector Mage and a Noble Hierarch. He's got a couple things in hand. So that Zathra Necromancer, that's legit. Okay.
He can go cast Zathra Necromancer, activate the vial, put in a Thalia's Lieutenant. That's pretty good. Kind of feel like he wants to get this Champion of the Parish in as soon as possible so it can grow. Kind of why I wanted to do that play last turn. So in this turn he would have Reflector Mage. Either way, Thalia's Lieutenant here is huge. Counter, counter, counter. Yeah. Did Doff put a 5 on that Noble Hierarch? Huh. Wonder why I put a 5 on that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that would be... Yeah, Thalia's Lieutenant puts 1/1 counters on each of your creatures except for one where it puts a +5/+5. That'd be a good creature, wouldn't it? Turn 1 Champion of the Parish, turn 2 Thalia's Lieutenant, give it +6/+6 in. Oh man, you could do so... That would make Humans even more the best deck in Modern. Alright, so... Over here for Jesse. He now has to contend with this whole board state. And he's got the same thing as he had before. Legion Loyalist, Goblin Guide, Pile Driver. Now... Alright, let's say Goblin Pile Driver swings. Oh look, it swings. It has Pro Blue, and so that... Oh, nice. Ancient Ziggurat in hand. It'll be a 7/2 trample first strike. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Okay, so... This is a problem for Doff, one might say. I believe he's going to be blocking the Noble Hierarch on a Legion Loyalist, the Reflector Mage on another Legion Loyalist. He might just be chumping as much as he can. The yeah. Okay, so here's my line. Block the 2 Legion Loyalists with your 1/2 and your Reflector Mage. Probably block and or chump with one or both of your Lieutenant and the Champion of the Parish, so that you don't just die, right? But either way, you gotta get rid of both of the Legion Loyalists before he swings again with his Pile Driver. Otherwise, you just lose. Because there's no way you can survive this turn and then also survive next turn if that guy has trample in first strike. So let's see. He's at 7. Got the Goblin Guide. Okay, that's a 3/3 Champion of the Parish. Here's what I do. I block the Champion of the Parish on the Goblin Guide, and then chump the 7-power attacker with my 1/1. Go to 1, but keep my entire board and wipe out your entire board. Then Jesse's left with a 1/2, and that's it. I think Doff wins from there, and I don't think that the 1 damage versus the 2 damage is going to be relevant unless Jesse draws exactly Goblin or Mog Fanatic. But this works too. It's just the difference is if you block the other way, then you have a 3/3 champion instead of a 1/1 Thalia's Lieutenant, but you don't die to the Fanatic. So this is probably better for Doff, honestly. Either way, he's gonna go Thalia, Zathra Necromancer, putting counters on the Thalia's Lieutenant, and Jesse will no longer be able to swing ever. Interestingly enough, he does still have the Legion Loyalist. So there is a world in which Jesse goes like, what? Mog War Marshal, next turn, Goblin Bushwhacker swing, kill you. This is risky for Doff. Oh, Goblin Chieftain! Oh no! Okay, so we have Jesse's probably just swinging here, right? His guys get +1/+1, trample first strike. Yeah, those are the relevant stats. Okay, so this is a 6/3 Pile Driver, right? With trample and first strike. So how do we kill it as well as not die? Let's see. Doff could block with the Thalia's Lieutenant. That's 3 toughness. He can block with both the Thalia and... Wow, Doff does not have great blocks here. Seeing that the pile driver has first strike and trample. That's the big relevant part here. A 6/3 first strike trample is very hard to both block and have creatures around to deal damage, like to kill it after that combat. Doff has 2 power of first strike damage, so he can't actually just block and kill it here. And I think Doff not blocking and killing the Legion Loyalist, like, what, 2 turns ago, might, or I guess that was just last turn, yeah, might end up losing him the game if he can't figure out how to make this math work perfectly for him. One thing that Doff can do is use the Thalia and block the Chieftain, killing it before, or like during the first strike damage step. All right, it's pretty good, because that gets rid of 1/1 on both the other creatures. Never mind, just kidding. It doesn't, because they all have first strike. What am I saying? Yeah. Okay, so it looks like the 1/1 Legion Loyalist is being blocked by the 1/2 Noble Hierarch. Yeah, Jesse's noting that they all have first strike anyway, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Doff goes to 1. Wait, right? Because Doff has 5 toughness on the 6/3 attacker. Loses both his guys, gets a bunch of zombies, sure, but it doesn't look like the Mog or the pile driver is going to die here. I don't think it dies here, at least. So Doff is still trying to figure out exactly how he's going to block. Man, yeah, Doff loses there. He loses because he made the conservative line and ended up losing to a top deck Goblin Chieftain. That's nuts. Oh, that's... Wow. Wow, okay. Goblin Pile Driver is a house. Goblin Pile Driver with Legion Loyalist is a lot of damage. That is a huge attacking creature. Good job on Jesse for just toughing it out and just swinging. I don't think his deck is able to win if he just holds on for like 3 turns and doesn't do anything. That was a sweet final game there for the night. That is the end of our 3rd round here of Modern here at Paradise Games. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name was Adam. And yeah, you should definitely tune into we'll have probably something streaming most days. You should definitely check in on that. We have an event calendar on the website, paradise.games, I believe. Should be in the Twitch description somewhere. Yeah, paradise.games is the website. And it's also in the Twitch panel. So yeah, go check that out. You should come back and watch us for another tournament. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice evening, everyone.